See, as I'm looking at my phone, I can see the face of what we would view as an everyday person. You know, somebody that we might just see in passing, somebody that we might work with, someone that we're friends with, someone that we're family with, and they're no longer here. In this particular incident, I feel for not only one person, but another and another and another and another. The point I'm trying to make is when somebody loses their life, especially to something as what I feel is senseless violence, it gets to a point where you're upset because you feel like that could have been you. Just doing your everyday routine, maybe even attending a festival every single year. You know, we talk about in Jersey, well, at least South Jersey, we talk about going to Johnson's Farm all the time. Now that it's fall season, at the time of recording this and everything. And we get to this realm of trying to cope with what's going on with the world. And to me, the only thing I can sit here and ask is what has happened to us? How did we get here? How did we get to this place as a society where we feel that it's okay to be numb and not be sensitive to other people's situations? Now, I'm from Jersey, and recently, especially in South Jersey, we've started kind of seeing the car scene start to pick back up a little bit. Where people are having car shows, car meets, now that, the COVID's starting to kind of end. And in Wildwood, two people lost their lives due to a particular event that was hosted by said company, you know? And I'm not holding said company's fault for what has happened. Where I'm putting the blame at is our ignorance to the world and to others, because we care so much about ourselves that we forget that we are inhabited and on a planet with other people. So in this particular situation, a man was out with his fiance. you know they attended a festival. It's like an annual festival every year that they usually attend to. And while in the middle of the street you have hundreds, maybe even thousands of people crowding the streets, and this is a busy street where you don't even think to yourself, like, oh, you think that just because you're in this large crowd that something won't happen to you, you know? And even then, I doubt for them they were trying to experience anything. They were just probably having a nice, lovely evening and wanted to get home. But it's always that one thing that we always take for granted, to leave out every day and being able to make it home. There's families, there's loved ones, there are people alongside of them who are going through the same emotional trauma now that they weren't ever expecting to go through due to senseless actions. I understand there is a way of having fun and trying to expand a culture and trying to unite a front or just bring people together through, what we would consider a common denominator. You know, People that go into car shows, you would assume they love cars, and then they want to talk about it with people and be fun. But when is it became a culture that we can just destroy a city, that we can come into any city that isn't ours. I guarantee you half the people there don't even live in that city, and come in and have all these senseless acts, which leads to racing in the streets, hitting people, crashing into somebody. Actually, I believe it was a family on golf cart just crossing the road, you know? And to think, like, what could have really happened? I think they managed to be okay. I think they, still probably suffered some injuries, but just imagine how traumatic that is to have to recall that moment every single time. And I can attest to situations like that because I've been in a car accident where I was just driving on a normal day. I was home for, break on college, and I was going around and just kind of like visiting everybody that I didn't get to see in a long time, being away, especially my freshman year, and just going through a stoplight. Somebody drove right into my driver's side door, and all I can remember is seeing the flashing of the light just hitting me. And to me, I never think like something like that could happen. But even to this day, I can't even drive through intersections without always peeling my eyes left and right, just because I never know that somebody's going to try to jump the gun, just try to make it before the light and just try to make a turn here, make it this and make that. But to bring it back to what is really had happened, what has happened in this particular situation, I feel as though that a lot of these things could have been avoided just for the simple fact that people realize that they have some sense and actually know how to act. There's now a lot of people that won't be able to showcase their cars now or just have events in certain cities because, they think that something bad is going to happen. We can't even have normal concerts anymore. We can't have anything normal because we feel as though that somebody's just going to be reckless and endanger the entire public, and all they want to do is just go out and just have a good time. And I understand a lot of times too that people want to have that same fun, but there has to be a point where enough is enough. And to me, I feel like we as a society, due to the impact of social media, due to the impact of being able to have literally the whole world right at our fingertips. We can literally search up anything on Google. We're connected with people across the world. It's a tool that has been misused. It's like, it's a great tool, a great asset when it comes to networking, for entertainment purposes, and just being able to stay connected with people that you don't normally get to see all the time, especially if you're at a distance. However, I think we've reached a point now in the social media era that is taking us away from us being human. I think the same emotions that we possess as far as empathy and sympathy for others has gone away. I feel like with the way that we see people online that have these extravagant lives, we expect to be able to be just like them just because we happen to be the same age. So we feel that we're lesser than ourselves because we see someone else doing whatever. But at the same time, we don't know what they're going through. We don't ever really know what's happening. All we see is a picture, and then we see a video. And then that video could be 30 seconds, and then we think that we know them, or we think we know what's going on, but behind the scenes, it could be something completely different. And I start to think of the more recent things that kind of popped up in society, especially dealing with like the loss of PNB Rock. Imagine going to Twitter or going to whatever social media that allowed it and seeing a video of someone face down in a pool of their own blood. Literally a pool of their own blood. And people can sit here and make jokes, and people can sit here and troll and try to say all these different things and forget that that is someone's human life. Like, that is literally someone's life. That could have been you. It could have been your family. It could be your cousins. It could be your friend. Whoever that you associate with could be laying in that same position. And there's people that are connected to to this individual or individuals, because there's been mass shootings. There's been all these different things that happen. And I feel like we as a society have just become so numb to it. And I understand that we don't like to deal with trauma. It's not easy dealing with it. And I understand it's not easy dealing with the negative stigmas that come with it. But we have to grow. We have to face it. We have to be able to literally tackle this head on and just move forward. It's not easy, and it will never be easy. But it's more fulfilling and more rewarding in the end once you get to that place. Also, look at the Jeffrey Dahmer situation. You know, it's the newest thing that's out right now on Netflix, and being able to kind of see a visualization of what happened in real life situations. Now, I do know that I think it's important for some people that are learning about the story and learning about what's happened to said individuals. I think it's important to tell their story. However, I think people have to remember that there are families that are involved. These are real life situations, and making jokes about, someone trying to save their life from being killed, and seeing how vulgar and how crazy the situation is, and how many people actually did die from this person. And I feel like social media, the moment you try to talk about, when you try to talk about the negative things that happen or any sort of traumatic experience, we can't even face it, so we just think we need to laugh it off. And the moment you try to talk about it, people shun you for it. Why you always want to be negative? Why do you always want to be sad all the time? Why do you only want to talk about this? Or it has to be cool to put somebody down, or be cool to make fun of somebody. The bullying era will always exist, and I'm glad that, like, even as a kid, that I've experienced it in a sense, because it's helped shape me and helped grow me. But at the same time, I feel like it's also taught me about what it meant to be a bully. And a lot of people that are bullies is because they're going through shit too. And I feel like we as a society are just overall depressed. We're all depressed. We all go through life experiences thinking that it's going to be one way, and it's not. It happens. But the thing is, we have to learn how to live with uncomfortability. We have to learn how to live with the bad, learn with the ugly, learn how to live with all those things. Be able to understand that no matter what comes with bad, there will be good. But we have to face it head on, so that way we can move forward. It's one of the most important pieces in my healing process, and going through the notion of trying to just be able to be fully me, and be able to understand that, like, I owe it to myself to be the best me and make sure I take care of me. But I also owe it to myself to be the best person and have an impact in somebody else's life. So I think it's cool to be able to laugh and joke, but not everything needs to be a meme. Not everything is funny or needs to be taken that way that it needs to be funny, And it's okay to acknowledge bad things that happen and understand it. It's okay to say that people are doing wrong. Just because you see someone else make a joke about it and it got 1,000 likes, sure. Now, let's think about those same 1,000 people that only like things just because they see other people liking it, or they seen the celebrity say it. So now they're like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. Social media has taught me that they're just going to manipulate you into wanting you to feel a certain way or think a certain way, or you should buy a certain thing because you see it in your face all the time. It's always going to be promoted to be negative instead of it being a positive thing. And I feel like when I come across all of my social feeds, a lot of people talk about the negative things and never talk about positive things that happen. And when you finally see something positive, it's like, yo, when did being good stop being cool? You know, why is it that we have to go out our way to make someone else's life inconvenienced? Whether it be scamming, whether it be robbing, now you're trying to fight them or shoot them, you know? And I feel like we're just the worst at it as a society due to what we see every day. Overall, I feel as though that it's important to really look into yourself and remember that you're just not the only person that you're going to experience, that you're going to see. There's people that watch you every single day and you have no idea that they're even watching you because you may not have spoke to them. You may not even know they exist, but they know you exist. They know that when they see you, they see this particular person and it's a reference to where they're trying to get to, you know? So I always try to lead by example, and I feel as though that now we just need to, as a society, and stop always trying to follow the next trend or always trying to follow what's in just to stay relevant on social media. No, that's not what this is about anymore. It used to be fun where you could just post something that you had fun and that was it. But now it's like you gotta make sure you have the right hashtag, or you gotta make sure your algorithm fits, or you gotta make sure that, like, even though it's something you said is harmful or destructive to someone else, just to make sure that you get the most likes and the most follows and the most views. Who cares? That's what you want to be remembered by? Cool. It's not what I want to be remembered by. And this is what I'm trying to do here, where I want to spread awareness. I want to really spread awareness to just understanding you and understanding that you have a real strong impact with the decisions that you make, whether it be in real life or on social media. Wherever you go, your decisions carry so much weight. And just learning how to really think for yourself and make sure that no matter what you do, it's in good faith. You know, you're trying to walk in a good spirit and you're just trying to better yourself. You know, at the end of all this, I just hope that we can come to a place of understanding, especially amongst all of us, that we're all going through something. We all have families that care, you know, and it doesn't even have to be your immediate family. We have families that are extended. We have families through our job. You have families through fraternities and everything else that you can think of. There are people, somebody cares about you somewhere, and I know for a fact there's other people that care about them too. So we have to be mindful. Just really be mindful of our actions, because we know that it really is going to provide a true impact on us and those that are around us. Remember, multiple people have lost their lives to senseless acts, who, to us, you would try to blame a younger generation, or you would try to blame somebody, but overall, I just blame everything. I blame us as a culture. We pride ourselves in canceling the bad with cancel culture. However, we don't cancel out a lot of things that are actually impacting us. We just cancel shit just because it makes sense to other people on social media to say, oh, well, this person's this bad, so we're just going to cancel them out and whatever. Like, no. If we're going to cancel people, like, let's cancel the toxic shit. Let's stop with all the toxicness. Why do we pride ourselves in being toxic? Why are we priding ourselves on doing harm to other people? Why do we pride ourselves in taking advantage of people and in their situations? Why is that a thing? What has happened to us? Seriously, what has happened to us where we just don't care anymore? I don't know. I just hope that at some point I can make sense of it, because to me it's just mind blowing that we all share the same commonality of being human, but we allow everything else going on in society to make us forget that. So that's pretty much it. To end it all, just think. Literally, that's all I can say. Literally, just think. Take time, step back away from social media, take time away from all of it, and really just look at situations and really understand that we're all human at the end of this. So that's it. Me, GTV, signing off. Next time.